Hi, it's Donna-Marie here. This week I received an email from someone saying that they needed help, but they wanted some advice on how to handle a particular problem they had. Now what's happened is they've had a website built for them. They found a web designer. This person set up their hosting account, built the website and so forth. They did an okay job at it. But what's happened is the web designer has now disappeared, and unfortunately the business owner doesn't have the access details for their site. Whenever they wanted a change making, they would email their web designer and the web designer would do all the work for them. So this business owner now can't access their hosting account, they can't access their website, they have no idea how to go about accessing this information, and they're in a little bit of a pickle about it, as you can imagine. Unfortunately, this is not a rare problem. I have seen it happen plenty of times before. And for a lot of people, if you're not really tech savvy or you don't really know much about building a website and setting up a hosting account, it's quite natural to find someone to do that for you and leave it all in their hands. And look, it's great that this business person has done that. They're outsourcing to someone who's specialised in that area, and that's a great thing to do. I definitely recommend that. The problem is that they don't have the access information that they need. So what do you do in this situation? In future, what I suggest, and if this is something that you might be guilty of yourself, that you don't have access details for your website, your hosting account, maybe for other accounts that people look after for you, you need to make sure that you have the access details. So any accounts that someone sets up on your behalf, make sure that you get the login details and that you have access to those accounts as well. If you ask your web designer or whoever it is, maybe it's a social media marketer who's set up social media accounts for you, just contact them and let them know that you'd like copies of, that you'd like access to this information as well. And most of them, they shouldn't have any issue giving that information to you. Now it would depend on the actual service and the way it's set up and so forth, but in most cases that shouldn't be an issue. Now in this instance, for this business owner where the web designer has just disappeared for whatever reason, now it may be that they were a bit of a scam or they were corrupt. More than likely there's some other issue going on, whether they've had some emotional problem, some personal problem, maybe a business problem, and they're just not dealing with it, and they're choosing to ignore. Maybe there is some technical issue, or maybe they've taken suddenly ill and they're in hospital. Who knows? There could be many things going on, and we can't jump to conclusions that this person is a particularly bad person. Maybe it was just a little bit of bad management here. What you can do in the case of, say, a website and a hosting account, you can contact the hosting company, hopefully you know who that is, and let them know the situation. Contact their support desk and let them know what's happened, and they'll be able to help you out. Now, I have actually done this myself on behalf of a client. It was a little bit painful trying to explain the situation and prove that we needed access to this account. And what we had to do, we did have to send the client's driver's licence and other forms of ID and things like that. But once they could see that it was their site and their account and that they were the ones who were paying the monthly bills for the hosting, they were quite happy to help us out and gave us access that we needed. Once we had access to the hosting account, we were able to access the website files as well. Now, sometimes it might be that the website was built through a platform where the website software company arranges the hosting and everything. If that's the case, contact that company direct, and the same thing, you explain what happened, and you'll probably have to jump through a few hoops and give them lots of evidence that this is your site, but 9 times out of 10, in fact 9.9 times out of 10, they'll be able to help you out and they'll give you all the access that you need. If it's another type of account, perhaps it's not a website, maybe it's your social media accounts. Same thing goes if you contact the account holder, whatever software or tool it is that you need access to. If you contact them, they should be able to help you out with it, or at least find some sort of a suitable resolution for you. Okay, I hope that helps. As I said, prevention is much better than trying to fix the problem. So if this is something that applies to you now, go ahead now and make sure that you've got the access details for your accounts. As I said, outsourcing is brilliant, but you still need to be the person in control and you still need access to all of your accounts, especially if it's something that you're paying a fee for. So make sure you've got those organised, and that should minimise the chance of there being problems with it. Now, if you like this video, make sure that you go to donna-mariecoggins.com and subscribe for our updates. By doing so, you'll get an email letting you know whenever there's a new video posted with more tips for you on how to design a successful business that fits your lifestyle. Bye for now.